Dang. It was so hot today, and I had to do a picnic for my 9 to 5 for the clients at work. We throw like events for them, and today was our Veterans Court picnic. So we work with the mental health and substance use, mental health, mental health diversion calendar, and then we work with the same exact thing but for veterans. I don't have any of those guys on my caseload, but we do service that population. Sorry, this tripod is patched, you guys. Forgive me. Patch treesy. But yeah, and I sweated a lot today, and I'm sitting on my bed, and I don't get in the bed until I shower. So this is off limits. But I'm doing this for y'all because I love this community. I love what I'm building. I love the love I've been getting on YouTube, even though it's only like 40 views, but 40 is way better than 4. So yeah, we're gonna keep it pushing, keep it rolling. But today we're talking about confusion and trusting yourself, like understanding and knowing you know, not just believing in yourself, but knowing you know. Because when you believe, that leaves room for you to, find out some new shit and believe something else. But when you know, there's no second guessing, there's no doubt, there's no confusion, right? So first, confusion. This is gonna go over your head if you're an atheist or not like religious. Even if you're spiritual, it might go over your head because spirituality, there's no definition. Spirituality is subjective. It's case by case. I could be spiritual in one way, you could be spiritual in one way, and there's no facts. And me, I'm the type of person that's an avid like truth seeker. I want the facts. I want to know what's the truth, and the truth is in the Bible. So confusion, it doesn't come from God. It's the devil. The devil confuses you. God will never confuse you. Everything he says is facts. Everything he says is right. Everything he says is in your best interest and for the betterment of you, right? And the only way I could explain it for someone who be an atheist or spiritual or a baby, well, not a baby Christian, but just, on the fence. You remember the last time you did something bad and there was something inside of you that told you don't do it, but you didn't listen. That's how God will speak to you, right? So if what you're doing has any of that in it, it's not from God, it's not of God, and it's probably not for you. But at the same time, like the devil will use your thoughts, emotions, and feelings to confuse you, right? So you could be, doing exactly what God wants you to be doing, but you're allowing your thoughts, emotions, and feelings to confuse you. It's because you're using thoughts, emotions, and feelings as facts. They're just a signal, right? And you got to have your heart in the right space so you can understand and, listen to the signals, right? Feelings, emotions, right? They're not facts, they're just signals. Sometimes you can catch a feeling or catch an emotion that tells you to go left, that tells you to go right, or that tells you like this is probably not what we're supposed to be doing, or this is probably something we need to look at again, right? That's usually what it means. Usually a feeling or a fact that is either against whatever you're doing doesn't mean stop. It shouldn't be, it shouldn't be magnified enough to confuse you. It just means like take a second look or like slow down, you know what I mean? Or just be more vigilant or more cautious, right? But just like there was a voice inside of us that told us not to make that mistake we made, that made us, that got us in trouble or that got us into this situation, right now, as you're working towards whatever you're working towards, if it's going to work or not. You see it working. You see the end goal in your head, but you don't see the steps. They say he doesn't give us the steps because we never do it, right? Like my goal was to get off drugs and to go pro, and it took me like 6 years. And they say it takes 10 years to go pro in anything, or like 10,000 man hours, right? But I was able to do it in 6. And it's like, if he would have told me, Ray, you're going to have to get out of Gilroy, go to East Palo Alto for 5.5 months, go to De Anza College, not play a single down of football. You're going to be fat this entire time. Get to a 4-year college. It's not going to be D1. You're going to tear your LCL and fracture your leg And then after that, you're still not going to get to play running back because they're going to bring in another guy because the head coach, well, the offensive coordinator is not going to believe in you for some reason, and he's going to make you compete even though you've been grinding and he's watched you lose over 50 pounds in front of his face. He's still going to try to bring in a transfer to take that spot from you. So you're going to have to do that, beat him out, and then at the end of your college career, you're going to get a new coach who's going to change the entire offense and almost give your position to a freshman because, you know, the girl's going to leave you, your dad, your brother, and a lot of your friends are going to die. So it's going to be really hard for you to finish your last year of college. You're going to probably almost drop out, but you're going to stay, and then you're going to still get the opportunity to go pro overseas. But you got to go through all that. I wouldn't have done it, bro. I wouldn't have done it. I would have changed my mind and went a different way and figured something else out, right? That's why he doesn't give us the steps, but he gives you the first step. And as you embark on the first step, you know, because you have an idea, you have a dream, and then he gives you the first step, just like he gave us that hookup when we made that mistake. He gives you the first step in the same manner, and as you embark on the first step, he will give you the second step and so on and so forth. But you have to start, you have to get in motion, because it's only once we get in motion do we actually display faith, do we actually show that we believe and show that we actually know, right? Because you could say you believe, you could say you know you're right all the time, but until you start moving like it, you don't really believe, you don't really know. Because if you truly believed and you truly knew, you would just move like it regardless of what it looked like, regardless of the feelings and the emotions, right? You would just move like it through whatever you're dealing with, through whatever's going on internally or externally, bro. So always remember, confusion is not of God, it's the enemy. You know, like before the apple was eaten and you know, we got into like this loop of forever dysfunction, you know, forever turmoil. That's essentially what being a human is. You have to understand a part of the deal is suffrage. Life isn't easy for humans. It's very hard. Like there's a lot of things you kind of got to go through before you can get to a place of like true peace. You know, you have to learn a lot of lessons, unlearn a lot of things, and you got to kind of find this place of peace on your own through your own personal development and through getting closer to God. I say God because that's what I believe. That's my Lord and Savior, and the peace that I've found, it's only come through, you know, the work I've done on myself, the personal development, which got me in the door and made me strong enough to walk by faith as I, you know, grab God's hand. You know what I'm saying? And I'm early. I'm a baby Christian, bro, but I need no more proof. I need no more proof at all. And I want you to believe that too, because just like I know, you know, there's a version of you out there that knows as well. There's a version of you out there that believes in himself so much that it makes people uncomfortable, that it makes people who don't even believe in themselves not even come around you. There's a version of you that believes in themselves so much that just the simple fact of being around you, you give people confidence, and one time they come around you, they're gonna want to go after all their goals, not girls, because that's just how you make me feel. That's just how you make them feel. That's the energy you're going to carry, but you have to become that version. You can't do it as the person you are now. The person you are now is exactly who you are, no more, no less. So you just need to accept that and understand. If you want to get somewhere else and get out of the space of confusion, not knowing, anxious, depressed, you have to be prepared to become someone else, which means you have to learn new information, but not only learn it, believe it, and believe it, apply it, and move like that. Do what's required every single day with definite purpose, true intention, bro. That's how you remove the confusion. You have to know you know. You're always going to be confused if you move on, because naturally we know, right? And we start moving, but then we start seeing shit happening or not happening, or someone weird says something to us, someone that's usually not even trying to do what we're doing. You're allowing someone who's not even in your field or your scope of things to have an opinion that's ultimately allowing you to detour from where you're going, bro. They're not even doing what you're trying to do, and you're letting the way they feel or the way it's irrelevant to you, bro. If they're not doing what you're trying to do or in a position you want to be in, what they say, how they feel, all of it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You could just listen to it and nod your head and just know you're gonna continue to go in your direction, bro. Just because you know them, just because you love them, doesn't mean they know what they're talking about, bro. It's impossible for someone outside of you to know what is best for you, bro. It's literally impossible. I don't care if it's your mother, your girlfriend, or your whoever, bro. No one can know what's best for you like you, bro. So start moving and acting like that, bro. That's the only reason you're confused, because you keep listening and moving on the fucking the emotions and feelings of other people, bro. You know what you want to do, bro. And you're not gonna know if it's gonna work until you keep trying, bro. It's either gonna work or it's not gonna work. That's the only way it goes, bro. And if it works, it's because you didn't quit. And if it doesn't work, bro, you quit. That's the only way things don't work. Like, this is not, we're not in, this is not elementary school in the early 2000s, bro. Things don't just break. Like, you don't gotta blow the cartridge and it just doesn't work, bro. Things work that are getting worked on in 2026. There's too much information, there's too much tools. If you want to make something work in 2026, you have more than enough information, you're more than capable, and you have more than enough resources out here to get it done, bro. If it doesn't work, it's because you quit or you weren't trying hard enough, bro. Stop acting confused, stop believing your emotions, stop believing what they're saying. You know, believe it.